get you a ladder so you can
I
get
still
off my
remember my first battle.
Get on it.
Run while you can.
Fucking horror! Rip you apart!
Don't fear, you shall pay.
I'll get on it.
Excellent! Ridiculously awesome.
All right, all right.
I am your death.
Time to dance. Die already!
Don't fear, you shall pay.
Now it's better than later.
Now
I'll
you
get on it.
Somebody still can!
So you can get off my back. Got it.
It's a good day to die! The massacre is trembling racy.
I'll get on it.
This should be I'll see and you shall pay. Wipe them out.
Even the Sten can be cut down. The enemy draws blood. That was a most difficult battle. Good shot.
All right.
Blast! You cannot win!
Get off my
I still remember my first This really gets the blast pump.
right.
Excellent. Invigorating that was. Like bandages.
A dragon, a worthy opponent.
I still remember my first battle.
For a little bloodletting.
I believe we are headed up towards the surface of the mountains.
Right, all right. Not so fast. All right.
Out of the mouth.
Oh, another battle it is. Now we play a little. All right.
Another battle, I see.
Shall we compete for points? That's right.
So be it.
As you wish. Go. I see.
Try that again.
Ready. Now's better than later. All right, all right. Can I get you a ladder so you can get off my back? I see enemies ahead. Time for a little bloodletting, you see. Better than later. All right, all right.
mercy.
I'll get on it. Now's better than later. All right, all right.
Stop! You will go no further! You have defiled our temple. You have spilled the blood of the faithful and slaughtered our young. No more! You will tell me now, intruder, why you have done all this. Why have you come here? You did this all for an ancient relic. Know this, stranger. The Prophet Andraste has overcome death itself, and has returned to her faithful in a form more radiant than you can imagine. Not even the Tevinter Imperium could hope to slay her now. What hope do you have? They are still within this temple, but why do we need ashes when we serve the risen Andraste in all her glory? So, you are after the ashes? Perhaps there is a way for you to make up for your desecration of our home and temple? Perhaps, through Andraste's mercy, her greatest enemy will become her greatest champion. Allow me to introduce myself. I'm Father Colgrim. I lead the disciples of Andraste. The ashes you seek reside atop this mountain, watched by an immortal guardian who refuses to accept the truth of the risen lady. Now the ashes prevent Holy Andraste from fully realizing her new form. They are a remnant of her past incarnation, and she cannot move on as long as they exist. The Beloved needs to reclaim the ashes, to make them her own again. All it would take is a drop of her blood. Blood carries power, strength, knowledge! Through it, all the power that is held in the ashes will be returned to Our Lady. The Guardian has foiled all our attempts to reach the urn. He keeps what power remains from the true Andraste. He knows the disciples, and we cannot touch him, for he draws his strength from the ashes themselves. But you could deliver Our Lady what is rightfully hers. The rewards for performing such a service would be great indeed. No, he waits for pilgrims to come venerate the urn. He will assume that you are one of these. The task is simple. I give you a vial of the Holy Andraste's blood, and you empty the vial into the ashes. Whatever magic was held in the ashes will be undone, and our great lady will be freed from the shackles of her past life!
And what? Encourage the worship of a large lizard? Consider your actions carefully.
Take this. The blood of the dragon. You know what you must do.
If we succeed, Colgrim and his fellows will be indebted to you. That puts you in a very advantageous position.
Excellent. With Colgrim on our side, we could make it through this entire ordeal with our necks intact.
Now, I shall beseech the Holy Andraste to let you pass safely into the inner sanctum.
Be cautious. A dragon such as this is better to avoid than engage.
I pray you, stay your wrath. I bring before you your champion, who will fall upon your enemies as a cleansing flame, paving the way for your glory. Beloved Andraste, O holy Andraste, we praise your name. Spoken to the beloved Andraste. She will let you pass. Succeed in your task, and you will share in her glory. We await your triumphant return. Go! Show yourself to be Andraste's true champion.
I bid you welcome, Pilgrim. Yes, I am the Guardian of the Ashes. I have waited years for this. No one can take the Ashes. They belong here. It has been my duty, my life, to protect the urn and prepare the way for the faithful who come to revere Andraste. For years beyond counting have I been here, and shall I remain until my task is done and the Imperium has crumbled into the sea. Ah, is it not? Then perhaps this is the beginning of the end. Colgrim knows not of what he speaks. His heart is laced with poison, and he has led many astray. When my brethren and I carried Andraste from Tevinter to this sanctuary, we vowed to forever revere her memory and guard her. I have watched generations of my brethren take up the mantle of their fathers. For centuries they did this, unwavering, joyful in their appointed task. But now they have lost their way. They have forgotten Andraste and their promise. I am all that remains of the first disciples. I swore I would protect the urn as long as I lived, and I have lived a very long time. I made a vow to Andraste and to the Maker. My life is tied to the Ashes. As long as they remain, so will I. You have come to honor Andraste, and you shall, if you prove yourself worthy. It is not my place to decide your worthiness. The Gauntlet does that. If you are found worthy, you will see the urn and be allowed to take a small pinch of the ashes for yourself. If not... There is only one way to the ashes, and that is through the Gauntlet. Before you go, there is something I must ask. I see that the path that led you here was not easy. There is suffering in your past. Your suffering, and the suffering of others. You abandoned your father and mother, leaving them in the hands of Rendon Howe, knowing he would show no mercy. Do you think you failed your parents? Very well. You know your own heart.
I'm glad you declined. This question has nothing to do with our goal.
Oh, good. For a moment there, I thought you were going to go on a weepy tirade and try to share your feelings.
Parshera, leave the past where it falls.
Is there any religion that does not thrive upon guilt, like a glutton at his lunch? No, I thought not.
And now the self-flagellation? Oh, that is what comes next in these things, no?
And what of those that follow you? And the Antivan elf?
Oh, is it my turn now? Hurrah! I'm so excited.
Many have died at your hand. But is there any you regret more than a woman by the name of...
How do you know about that?
I know much. It is allowed to me. The question stands, however. Do you regret?
Yes, the answer is yes, if that's what you wish to know. I do. Now move on.
Demand whatever answers you want, Spirit.
You came to this land as an observer, but you killed a family in a blind rage. Have you failed your people by allowing a Qunari to be seen in that light?
I have never denied that I failed.
And you, Morrigan, Flemeth's daughter, what?
Begone, Spirit. I will not play your games.
I will respect your wishes. The way is open. Good luck, and may you find what you seek.
Echoes from a shadow realm, whispers of things yet to come. Thought's strange sister dwells in night, is swept away by dawning light. Of what do I speak? Echoes from a shadow realm, whispers of things yet to come. Thought's strange sister dwells in night, is swept away by dawning light. Of what do I speak? A dream came upon me as my daughter slumbered beneath my heart. It told of her life, and of her betrayal and death. I am sorrow and regret. I am a mother weeping bitter tears for a daughter she could not save.
The smallest lark could carry it, while a strong man might not. Of what do I speak? That is not of what I speak.
All right.
I hope I don't get blood all over you.
That should not have taken as long as it did.
An eye for an eye, a tooth for a tooth. The debt of blood must be paid in full. Of what do I speak? Yes, my husband Hissarion would have chosen a quick death for Andraste. I made him swear that she would die publicly with her war leaders, that all would know the Imperium's strength. I am justice. I am vengeance. Blood can only be repaid in blood.
I'd neither a guest nor a trespasser be. In this place I belong, that belongs also to me. Of what do I speak? It was my dream for the people to have a home of their own, where we would have no masters but ourselves. The enemy of my enemy is my friend, and thus we followed Andraste against the Imperium. But she was betrayed, and so were we.
The bones of the world stretched towards the sky's embrace, veiled in white, like a bride greeting her groom. Of what do I speak? Yes. I carried Andraste's ashes out of Tevinter into the mountains to the east, where she could gaze ever into her Maker's sky. No more fitting a tomb than this could we find.
A poison of the soul, passion's cruel counterpart. From love she grows, till love lies slain. Of what do I speak? Yes, jealousy drove me to betrayal. I was the greatest general of the Alamori, but beside her I was nothing. Hundreds fell before her on bended knee. They loved her, as did the Maker. I loved her too. But what man can compare with a god?
She wields the broken sword, and separates true kings from tyrants. Of what do I speak? Yes, I could not bear the sight of Andraste's suffering, and mercy bade me end her life. I am the penitent sinner, who shows compassion as he hopes compassion will be shown to him.
No man has seen it, but all men know it. Lighter than air, sharper than any sword. Comes from nothing, but will fell the strongest armies. Of what do I speak? Yes, hunger was the weapon used against the wicked men of the Tevinter Imperium. The Maker kindled the sun's flame, scorching the land. Their crops failed, and their armies could not march. Then he opened the heavens and bade the waters flow, and washed away their filth. I am Cather, disciple of Andraste and commander of her armies. I saw these things done, and knew the Makers smiled on us.
My dearest child. You know that I am gone, and all your prayers and wishes will not bring me back. I see the pain and anger you carry. I know you fear to give it voice, but rest assured, my child, the Maker knows your heart. Now go. Carry with you my love and my forgiveness, pup.
Now it's better than later.
Now we can
This really gets the blood pumping. On your guard, wretch. Breaking a sweat already.
Better later. Healing would be helpful now. Simple enough. Andraste has such an excess of followers that she is willing to lure them to their deaths with ghosts and lies.
So there's the trick. Each piece must be made solid in order for one of us to cross.
What is it?
One person across. Perhaps that will be enough.
If you must. What now?
I am here.
Congratulations. You found your pot of holy dirt.
You have been through the trials of the Gauntlet. You have walked the path of Andraste, and like her, you have been cleansed. You have proven yourself worthy, Pilgrim. Approach the sacred ashes.
I stand in awe. Really?
Congratulations. You found a waste bin.
Nice vase. I should get one for my house.
The ashes! This most grievous of sins cannot go unpunished. Andraste must be avenged.
Let's see what you're made of! You're pathetic! Show me nothing will last. Got it. Already, the weight of the past seems to have lifted off the mountain. You are Andraste's Knight Champion. What you have done here will change the world forever! Yes, it would be a grave sin to deny you your just reward. You will share in the power of the dragon. You will become one of the children of the risen Andraste. Behold, the blood of the dragon, drawn from the beating heart of a wyvern. Drink in the strength of 1,000 generations! You will receive the memories and experience of our forefathers. You will know what they know, and what we know. Do you feel any differently? That is the nature of dragon blood. It is flame given life, and within it, all the experience of our ancestors. The memories of the blood, a gift from Andraste. The knowledge of our fathers and grandfathers is slowly being passed to you. Even if you leave, you will take us with you. You will forever be one of us. Ah! Our champion has returned! Is there anything I can do for you? Was the sin of the Imperium that brought them into this world? Let them come, and scourge the land, to pave the way for the risen Andraste. And when there is nothing left to destroy, we will emerge, and build a new kingdom in her name! Farewell, then.
Welcome back. You were gone for quite some time. Well, did you find it? You... what? You're not serious. You did this for those heretics? They've defiled the temple. You're a monster. I should never have led you here.
Where are the ashes? I had a bad feeling about this entire expedition, and I am glad to see you back. What happened? Could I see them, please? The ashes of the Maker's Chosen. I feel unworthy to look upon her. But what happened to the rest of the ashes? Good. Perhaps I shall journey there after we're done for some quiet contemplation.
Here I am. Oh, this should be good. Go ahead. Well now, I imagine that's a very fair question. Being an assassin, after all, is a living, at least as far as such things go. I was simply never given the opportunity to choose another way. So, if that choice presents itself, why should I not seize upon it? Now that you mention it, I am not entirely certain. I was but a boy of 7 when I was purchased. For 3 sovereigns, I'm told. Which is a good price, considering I was all ribs and bone and didn't know the pommel of a dagger from the pointy end. The Crows buy all their assassins that way. Buy them young, raise them to know nothing else but murder. And if you do poorly in your training, you die. Of course. You compete against your fellow assassins, and those who survive are rightfully proud of it. In Antiva, being a crow gets you respect. It gets you wealth. Gets you women. And men. Or whatever it is you might fancy. But that does not mean doing what is expected of you always. And it means being expendable. It's a cage, if a gilded cage. Pretty, but confining. And become the next mark for some up-and-coming crow? Not likely. The only way to leave is for them to think you're dead. And even then, you'd best be scarce. As for what I'll do in the future, presuming that there is one, I truly can't imagine. It might be interesting to go into business for myself, for a change. Far away from Antiva, of course. For now, naturally, I go where you go. Eventually can be a very, very long time if one plays one's cards right. Come now, enough chit-chat. Talking about the crows summons them, you know. Any Antivan fishwife could tell you so.
What do you need? Ask away. Did I say that? I meant that dogs raised me. Giant slobbering dogs from the Anderfells. A whole pack of them, in fact. Well, they were flying dogs, you see. Surprisingly strict parents, too. And devout Andrastians to boot. Oh, there you go, listening to me again. You'd think you'd have gotten past that already. I ended up in the Chantry, sure, but I didn't start there. Let's see, how do I explain this? I'm a bastard. And before you make any smart comments, I mean the fatherless kind. My mother was a serving girl in Redcliffe Castle who died when I was very young. Arl Eamon wasn't my father, but he took me in anyhow and put a roof over my head. He was good to me, and he didn't have to be. I respect the man, and I don't blame him anymore for sending me off to the Chantry once I was old enough. I know who I was told was my father. He died even before my mother did, anyhow. It isn't important. Arl Eamon eventually married a young woman from Orlais, which caused all sorts of problems between him and the king because it was so soon after the war. But he loved her. Anyhow, then you, Arlessa, resented the rumors which pegged me as his bastard. They weren't true, but of course they existed. The Arl didn't care, but she did. So off I was packed to the nearest monastery at age 10. Just as well. The Arlessa made sure the castle wasn't a home to me by that point. She despised me. Probably. It was just a kindness he did to a woman who had served him anyway. I didn't sleep on silk sheets in the keep or anything. I remember I had an amulet with Andraste's holy symbol on it. The only thing I had of my mother's. I was so furious at being sent away, I tore it off and threw it at the wall and it shattered. Stupid, stupid thing to do. The Arl came by the monastery a few times to see how I was, but I was stubborn. I hated it there, and blamed him for everything. And eventually, he just stopped coming. And raised my dogs. Or I may as well have been, the way I acted. But maybe all young bastards act like that. I don't know. All I know is that the Arl is a good man, and well loved by the people. He also was King Caelan's uncle, so he has a personal motivation to see Loghain pay for what he did. Anyway, that's really all there is to the story.
You called. I caged myself. A weak mind is a deadly foe, as you are no doubt aware. That is Complicated. I came to your lands with 7 of the Beresad, my brothers, to seek answers about the Blight. We made our way across the Ferelden countryside without incident, seeing nothing of the threat we were sent to observe. Until the night we camped by Lake Calenhad. They came from everywhere. The earth beneath our feet, the air above us. Our own shadows harbored the Darkspawn. I saw the last of the creatures cut down, too late. I fell. I am told no others survived. I don't know how long I lay on the battlefield among the dead, nor do I know how the farmers found me. I only know that when I woke, I was no longer among my brothers, and my sword was gone from my hand. Perhaps. I searched for it, and when that failed, I asked my rescuers what had become of it. They said they found me with nothing. I killed them. With my bare hands. I did. I knew they didn't have the blade. They had no reason to lie to me. I panicked. Unthinking, I struck them down. That sword was made for my hand alone. I have carried it from the day I was set into the Beresad. I was to die wielding it for my people. Even if I could cross Ferelden and Tevinter unarmed and alone to bring my report to the Arishok, I would be slain on sight by the Antam. They would know me as soulless, a deserter. No soldier would cast aside his blade while he drew breath. If I knew where to look, it would be in my hand now. Near Lake Calenhad. Perhaps those words are empty, but thank you all the same.
You have excellent taste.
Oh, how dear.
Oh, thank you. That's very nice. Oh, thank you. That's very nice.
Interesting. What do you wish of me? If you must. Why do you ask me such questions? I do not probe you for pointless information, do I? Beg pardon then, while I jump for joy. What is it you asked? If I grew up in the wilds? A curious question. Where else would you picture me? For many years it was simply Flemeth and I. The wilds and its creatures were more real to me than Flemeth's tales of the world of man. In time, I grew curious. I left the wilds to explore what lay beyond, never for long. Brief forays into a civilized wilderness. For the most part, Flemeth taught me well. For all that I had been taught, however, the truth of the civilized lands proved to be overwhelming. I was unfamiliar with so much. So confident and bold was I, yet there was much that Flemeth could never have prepared me for. Equal parts daring and foolhardy, perhaps. Only once was I accused of being a witch of the wilds, and that by a chastened who happened to be traveling with a merchant caravan. He pointed and gasped, and began shouting in his strange language, and most assumed he was casting some curse upon me. I acted the terrified girl, and naturally, he was arrested. Men are always willing to believe two things about a woman. One, that she is weak, and two, that she finds him attractive. I played the weakling and battered my eyelashes at the captain of the guard. Child's play. The point being that I was able to move through human lands fairly easily. Whatever humans think a witch of the wild looks like, 'tis not I. Not that I did not have trouble. There are things about human society which have always puzzled me, such as the touching. Why all the touching for a simple greeting? To begin with, yes. What is the point of touching my hand? I find it an offensive intrusion. There were many nuances that Flemeth could never tell me of. When to look into another's eyes. How to eat at a table. How to bargain without offending. None of these things I knew. I still do not understand it all, truth be told, but then I gave up long ago any hope of doing so. When I returned to the wilds last, I swore to Flemeth that I had no intention of leaving again. Yes? Let's ignore the entire Darkspawn threat and the presence of a simpleton as your only other Grey Warden ally, then. Not that I lack appreciation for the intent of your comment. Thank you. Well, let's get on with it before the ground opens up and swallows us, yes? Indeed.
Yes.
Yes.
Sire, I have more news. Yes. Well, it seems that the fighting has gone
Enough.
exactly as you...
I would like to know what you intend to accomplish, Father. Should we not be fighting the Darkspawn instead of each other?
The nobility should be brought into line and then the Darkspawn defeated. This is no true blight, Anora. Only Kaelin's vanity demanded it be so.
Beg pardon, sire. But blight or no, we may not have the manpower to face the Darkspawn soon.
Kaelin approached your legions for support, did he not?
Never! Marek and I drove those bastards out! Not roll out the welcome for them now!
We need help, Father. We cannot deal with this crisis alone.
Ferelden will stand on its own! I will lead it through this, Anora. You must have faith in me.
Did you kill Kaelin?
Kaelin's death was his own doing.
You return. Might you have news? You have? Wonderful. Let us go at once to Eamon's side and see if the Urn's healing powers live up to their reputation.
Where am I?
Be calm, brother. You have been deathly ill for a very long time. Do you remember nothing?
Tegan? What are you doing here? Where is Isolde?
I am here, my husband. Connor. Where is my boy? Where is our son?
He is dead. Connor is dead.
Dead? Then it was not a dream.
Much has happened since you fell ill, brother. Some of it will not be easy for you to hear.
Then tell me. I wish to hear all of it. This is most troubling. There is much to be done, that is true. But I should first be thankful to those who have done so much. Grey Warden, I know you did what you had to. I grieve for my son. But I believe that had you not acted as you did, it might have been far worse. I am in your debt. Will you permit me to offer you a reward for your service? Then allow me to declare you and those traveling with you champions of Redcliffe. You will always be a welcome guest within these halls. And for you, Warden, a shield of the same make as those that have been given to our finest knights.
We should speak of Loghain, brother. There is no telling what he will do once he learns of your recovery.
Loghain instigates a civil war even though the Darkspawn are on our very doorstep. Long I have known him. He is a sensible man, one who never desired power.
I was there when he announced he was taking control of the throne, Eamon. He is mad with ambition, I tell you.
Mad indeed. Mad enough to kill Cailan, to attempt to kill myself and destroy my lands. Whatever happened to him, Loghain must be stopped. What's more, we can scarce afford to fight this war to its bitter end. You would not walk away from that meeting unscathed. The Darkspawn slaughtered Cailan's forces, not Loghain's. He has strength we cannot hope to match. We have no time to wage a campaign against him. Someone must surrender if Ferelden is to have any chance of fighting the Darkspawn. I agree. Loghain will pay for his heinous crimes, but our armies must be reserved for the Darkspawn, not for each other. I will spread word of Loghain's treachery, both here and against the king. But it will be but a claim made without proof. Those claims will give Loghain's allies pause, but we must combine it with a challenge Loghain cannot ignore. We need someone with a stronger claim to the throne than Loghain's daughter, the Queen.
Are you referring to Alistair, brother? Are you certain?
I would not propose such a thing if we had an alternative, but the unthinkable has occurred.
You don't know?
I meant to tell you when we were approaching Redcliffe, but,
Alistair is King Merrick's illegitimate son. He is Cailan's half-brother and has a claim to Ferelden's throne.
I never thought it would come to this. When Cailan got married, everyone thought it was best to just have me step aside. It was a relief, actually. I don't want to be king. I never did. Even when Cailan died, I guess I hoped that something else would present itself.
You have a responsibility, Alistair. Without you, Loghain wins. I would have to support him for the sake of Ferelden. Is that what you want?
But I... No, my lord.
I see only one way to proceed. I will call for a landsmeet, a gathering of all of Ferelden's nobility in the city of Denerim. There, Ferelden can decide who shall rule, one way or another. Then the business of fighting our true foe can begin. What say you to that, my friend? I do not wish to proceed without your blessing. Why do you think he had me poisoned? He wanted me gone without having to confront me directly. If I call for a landsmeet, refusing the compromise and attacking Redcliffe will only support our accusations. I'm sure he'd rather I died from the poison. Had the demon not interfered, that's exactly what would have happened. Unless we convince some of Logain's allies to abandon him, that's not likely to happen. Our army is not large enough. As a Grey Warden, you may gather allies to you, but we need those forces to face the Darkspawn, not to battle against our own. Very well. I will send out the word. It will take some time to recall my forces and organize our allies. I would prefer to wait until that is done before calling the Landsmeet. In the meantime, I suggest you pursue the remainder of the Grey Warden treaties. We will need all the allies we can get if we are to defeat the Darkspawn Horde.
Back off! I was here first! Why, you looking to buy one? Oh, is he? Well, that's... see, I'd like to sell you one, but I don't, have any myself. I got part of a glove the wolves didn't chew too badly, though. I think it was a glove, anyway. I know, don't say it. I got cheated. I knew the guy who was here before me. He sold me this spot. Said he found giants and all kind of crazy valuables. He didn't mention that he'd taken everything but the bones and the dirt already. His name's Ferrin. Squirrely little bastard, if you ask me. Which you didn't, but I said it anyway. He was going to Orzammar, he said. I imagine he's gotten there by now. If you find him, tell him I sent you. It'll scare the piss out of him. Ha!
What is that smell?
Why, bless myself. What's a distinguished personage like yourself doing here? A mage? Me? That'll be the day, I tell you. That will be the day. I'm the ferryman. Leastwise, I used to be. Poor old Kester. Out of a job. I don't got a clue. They wouldn't tell me. Gregor just came down and said, "Don't you worry, Kester, we got it all under control, we do." Didn't say nothing else. And then he puts Carol in charge of my boat. Lissy, named for my grandmum she was. He's Knight Commander of the Templars up in the tower. Good man. I told you, they didn't tell me nothing. And if I know they're mages, I'm better off keeping out of their business. If I had to guess, I'd guess it had to do with magic, but the tower's always got something to do with magic. Don't look at me. I told you, I'm not the ferryman no more. Gregor's told me to stay here till it blows over, but I'm telling you, some storms don't blow over easy. Maybe you could at that. I'm sure your mind's all afire now, eh? Oh, I can't say that. I'm lucky he's good enough to give me the time of day. The first enchanter's all right. He's polite as can be, but he's always a little distant, if you get my drift. But Gregor'll stay to talk. I reckon he likes hearing from us common folk, you know? He's a man to be respected, that Gregor. I reckon it's good for them mages. Gather them all, learn them some proper magics. I know what they say about mages, but the Maker made them for a purpose. If you can't trust him, who can you trust? All right, keep safe, you hear?
Good day, and welcome to the Spoiled Princess. Is there something I can get for you? It was my father's idea. He ran the inn before me, and he named it for my sister. She was his little princess. Princess decided the country was too dull for her and moved to Denerim. More glamorous, she said. Well, she was found murdered, robbed of all the trinkets my father bought her with his hard-earned money. My father died of shock and heartbreak. Mother stopped eating, and I got the struggling in. The name stuck. That's the story. Of course. What would you like?
How very fitting that they would build a prison for mages in the middle of a lake and make it look like a giant phallus.
You're not looking to get across to the tower, are you? Because I have strict orders not to let anyone pass. No one gets to the tower. No one. The tower is off limits to all. Oh, you're a Grey Warden, are you? Prove it. So I'm not good enough for you. Fine. See if you get into the tower on your own. Is that bad? Look, I'm, just trying to do my job. I'll take you right now, just like you wanted. Come along, I suppose.
And I want 2 men stationed within sight of the doors at all times. Do not open the doors without my express consent. Is that clear?
Yes, sir.
Now we wait and pray. Who are you? I explicitly told Carol not to bring anyone across the lake. We're dealing with a very delicate situation. You must leave for your own safety. Cannot help, no matter which side of the Civil War you represent. The Circle's fate hangs in the balance, and the Templars that serve it must remain. I am weary of the Grey Warden's ceaseless need for men to fight the Darkspawn, but it is their right. You'll find no allies here. The Templars can spare no men, and the mages are indisposed. I shall speak plainly. The tower is no longer under our control. Abominations and demons stalk the tower's halls.
This is why we cut the tongues from mages in Parvolan.
I will admit to agreeing with your companion. Maker knows the Qunari would not have gotten themselves into this position. My men did what they could, but it wasn't enough. They took us by surprise. We were prepared for 1 or 2 abominations, not the horde that fell upon us. I would destroy the tower, raze it to the ground. But I cannot risk more of my men. The doors remain shut, and they will protect us for now. We do not mean for the doors to stay closed forever. Everything in the tower must be eliminated. I have sent word to Denerim, calling for reinforcements and the rite of annulment. The rite of annulment gives Templars the authority to neutralize the Mage Circle. Completely. This situation is dire. There is no alternative. Everything in the tower must be destroyed so it can be made safe again. I assure you, an abomination is a force to be reckoned with, and you will face more than one. That is a surprise. Did you manage to put it down? If you have fought an abomination, then you understand their evil. You know what they are. Madness and cruelty made flesh. You think you can deal with them when even Templars are loath to enter the tower? If you succeed, I would owe you much. Enough that I would pledge my Templars to your cause. Without word from Denerim, I must determine our course. Surely destroying Darkspawn is a worthy goal. A word of caution. Once you cross that threshold, there is no turning back. The great doors must remain barred. I will open them for no one until I have proof that it is safe. I will only believe it is over if the first enchanter stands before me and tells me it is so. If Irving has fallen, then the circle is lost and must be destroyed. May Andraste lend you her courage, whatever you decide.
I don't want to die.
This is the prison for your mages? Ours is not so grand.